Hey everybody, what's up? Let's get back to it. We've had enough of a break for the summer. Time to get back to our science. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of articulation. That's basically what I am known for. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name is Stacy. This is Desert Nature Alliance, and articulation basically just means how something moves, the movement of it. And I do the bones and a framing of the bones of the animals that I find out here in the desert in Arizona, and I have been taking them to STEM education events all over the state. Been to different colleges, and it's been exciting, but it's also time to take it to the next level. And since it is STEM education that I am supporting, I felt like I'm not really involving the technology and the engineering and the other things into what I'm doing as much. So okay, need to come up with something. Let's figure out a way to incorporate some kind of movement into our articulation. And what helped give me the idea was recently for Walt Disney at Disneyland, they created an animatronic of Walt, and how it moves and talks and all that stuff has been a big conversation for those that are in the world of animatronics. It looks like it's absolutely amazing, but where it kind of fell short, it sounds like, and I have not seen it yet, is the actual look of it. I've said this forever, that you can't really have STEM education. If you're gonna eliminate art, you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, so you're always gonna have art shoved right back at you. If you're talking to me, you're going to need to have that artistic vision, and that is why Walt created Imagineers instead of engineers, because just engineers weren't creative enough to come up with it. And I'm wondering if he was still alive, if he'd be yelling at him saying the same thing. You've got to be a little bit more creative. You've got to think outside the box, right? My last trip to Disney, why I love Disneyland, and okay, put it in the comments, whatever you feel about Disney. I love parades, and I love all of the rides that have all the different animatronics, and it's just something that I've loved. Besides cartooning, I love seeing all the different characters and stuff when you go on the rides. I think it's fantastic. There's a whole team of people that do that. One of my favorite places is the Haunted Mansion. If you've been to Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion is fantastic. And at Halloween time, they really do it up. And there's some amazing effects that happen. So I just have a great appreciation for it. So when I came back, I said, okay, what can I do in the land of STEM and the STEM support and the different places that we go to with the bones and stuff that I have? So I said, okay, what if I took one of the actual coyote, okay, this is a coyote skull right here, right? And we did whatever it was gonna take to make it open and close. Simple. I don't know how to do that. I'm sure the younger students or people that I meet out at some of these events wouldn't know how either, right? Most of us don't. If you're not involved in that type of engineering, or if that's not where your education went, no, you have no idea of how it works. You just understand that it's gonna open and close. And when you go on like rides, like I was saying at Disney, it's fun to see all this stuff moving and them opening, or you go to the Small World and they're all singing and it's going along with the music. So I thought that's a great avenue for someone like me who doesn't know any of this stuff to take the baby steps on in with, whether you're in 4th or 5th grade, or whether you're like me, you're in your 50s and you're like, I just didn't learn any of this stuff. I try to tell as many teachers that I get near, and I get near a lot of them because of the events that we go to, that if you would incorporate more art into the studies, into math, into English, you'd be amazed at how much better some of your students would do. Stop taking art away from some of the mechanics, especially math. Add more art to it, add more art to your science, and your students are gonna be doing a lot better, I promise. So anyways, okay, so why did I pick a coyote as opposed to, say, like one of the heavier skulls that I have back here, like the javelinas that we have? They're really heavy, and I'm sure as we all evolve together on learning how to open and close and what the mechanics are gonna actually be, but we're gonna start with something very light. These are very light. Unfortunately, it is coyote, and I have quite a few of them. Roadkill, yeah, like I said, once again, if you're new to the channel, I have a salvage permit. All the things we do, this is just for education. There's nothing for sale. Okay, so this is just all for us to learn. So yeah, salvage on the side of the road, unfortunately, all that kind of stuff. So I have quite a few of the coyote, but this one's nice and clean and something we can work with. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be working on, and it is a part separate. A little bit more cleaning, I guess, could be done. It doesn't really overly matter for what we're going to be doing. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go online and see if I can come up with what the basic little components would actually be. And it didn't make sense to me, and this is why I wanted to make a video as we're getting started. For anyone who is like me, who's very artistic, we tend to stay away from that stuff. So although the things, the wordings, the gadgets, it is very foreign. It's not the land that we dwell in. Those of us that are artistic, we're in that whole other side of this thing. So yeah, very weird for me to even start talking about something that would have wires or electronics or how something was going to move, but my brain understands what I want it to do. I know what I want to have happen. I know what those motions are actually going to be, right? So I said, okay, I need to talk to a human. This isn't gonna work. I can't just go online and look up on Amazon. None of that makes sense to me. I'm gonna need a human. So I find a hobby store, if you will, that's a few cities on over for me, that sells the things for the remote control cars and all that kind of stuff. And I went and talked to them for a little bit, and they were really helpful and showed me enough of the basics. A little too expensive is what I would say, because I'm not doing that for like the race cars, the remote controls, all that stuff kind of gets very expensive. So no offense to the hobby shop itself. The men were really nice to me, but it was financially way out of my league. I want to do something that's really, really basic. But I got to see some of the basic parts. Okay, so hopefully, if you're still watching after 6 or 7 minutes, it's a servo is what I was told I needed. And the servo is the little thing that's going to help something move. Now, for those of you that do anything electronic or anything with a remote control, you're probably laughing already at how basic I am. But I'm good somewhere else, y'all. This stuff is really new for me. So I said, okay, I need a servo, and then they explained to me that I needed all the parts. So I need something that's got the batteries. Okay, so I needed to have batteries, and I needed it like the brain that's going to tell it what to do, and then the servo is going to move. Okay, so if you are a person like me that is in a whole other planet, even receiving something like this, I didn't even want to open it. I still haven't even really opened it. I haven't really touched it. It felt so foreign to me. Now, if I got like a box of crayons or a box of pencils, or even if I got the stuff that I work with for some very extensive work for my the articulation I do, I'll just rip that open. I'm all excited, I'm ready to go. But when it's something that I don't know what it is about the land of electronics for some of us that we really just stay away or it repels us. Please put it in the comments if you're like me, or if you even understand what I'm saying about that it just feels exceptionally weird. So I haven't opened it yet. So what I went online, I went to Amazon. I didn't do that right either. I wound up becoming Prime because it was gonna be too expensive to send. I'm really not a fan of Amazon, but there was no place out here for me to get these parts. There was nowhere. I went to different places, there was nowhere. All right, go online, start looking up servos. What made me laugh is how cheap they actually are, because of the place that I went to, the hobby shop, they had some expensive stuff. So unless I just didn't understand what they were showing me. So I believe this is what's gonna make it move. All right, again, if you are someone who does know and you're following, put it in the comments for me. Help me along. I'm also really hoping that by doing this and jumping way out of the box and way out of my wheelhouse, I can find the avenue I'm supposed to be in, because I really haven't financially found my way where I'm supposed to go in terms of a career, not in terms of selling things, but in terms of where I can take my background and really be used somewhere else with it. And so I'm really hoping that by pushing outside of this weird bubble that I've been in and kicking screen, I'll get there. I'll find it somehow, or just in the universe it'll hear my plea. Okay, so this looks like there's these little things. Look, okay, check it out, guys. Okay, look, these are the things that I believe once I pop it on there, it's gonna move, and it's gonna make the skull open and close. Right, where am I at here? Open and close. And this is what we're hoping is strong enough to lift that up. That was what the question was. Is this strong enough for the weight that I have here? I don't know. I'm not sure how I would be figuring that out, right? Okay, so that's why we're gonna just jump straight on in to this end of the science, technology, engineering, math part. We're just gonna do it, right? Okay, so it looks like we got the parts and the components that, yeah, we're gonna go. It's not happening on this camera. It's not gonna happen on this video. Don't even worry about it, because by the time I figure out where those little screws and stuff go, it's gonna take a minute. It'll be another video. And then, let's see, it says this is a servo tester kit, so I guess it's probably just to make sure that your little thing works, but gotta figure out how all of it works to begin with. Oh, perfect, okay. It's got all the basic steps. Here you go. Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Okay, I'm in the light, here you go. Right, okay, so it's gonna give us the basic steps on what we're supposed to do to put it together. Got it? Okay, got it. And else? I'm excited. A little nervous. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, they gave us a thank you. How funny is that? We got a thank you. And it says use fresh batteries. I got some batteries. And let's see. What else is in the kit? I don't know. This part looks like it's the serious part. This part looks like it's the part that is going to turn. Okay, so it looks like we're going to use that part. And once I read all of it, we're going to find out what the actual parts are, and I'll get back to you. We'll do another video. And oh, and then of course, this is where I got that part. This is where the batteries go. All right. So that is going to be the goal. I'll try to read this stuff a little bit better. See what all the names are of everything. Put the batteries in like I'm supposed to, and see if we can get, see if we can get the coyote's head to move a little bit. Do I have even the right batteries? Okay, I'm not going to even do this on camera because I'll be fumbling over here. So yes, goal is going to be open and close, and to find a new direction where I'm taking this person, this Stacy. Where is she going to go in the next few chapters of her career? Okay, so put it in the comments. So glad to see you guys. We're back up and running again. I only have part of the museum in here, and part of the museum is still outside. It's just too hot for any kind of tours, but if you need to use any of these for your own personal education, you're doing teaching, reach out. Absolutely available, free. You just gotta make arrangements to get a hold of me, that kind of thing. And oh, for any of you that were watching me garden, oh, that was brutal. So we're gonna have to redo that whole little gazebo shed thing. It just got too hot. Immediately got too hot. Whole other conversation about gardening and temperatures and stuff. So stay tuned. Look forward to seeing you guys in the comments. Bye.